It's 8 o'clock in the evening and it's 42 degrees Celsius outside. That's what I call pretty hot. Josie, but during the day it was actually 46 degrees. But luckily the humidity is only 70% here in California, so it's dry heat, so it's not too bad. But anyway, here in this video I'm going to be talking about how to start and scale an Amazon business. So hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Unlocking a scalable Amazon business. So what do you need to start? What do you need to know to start a sustainable and scalable Amazon business? I mean, these are pretty, I've actually gone through this kind of stuff already like many times, but since like we keep getting questions about this, then it's actually good to repeat these things, and also because it might actually gives you an opportunity to look at the topic from a different perspective, even if you have already been doing something for years and years. Because there's actually danger in that if we really think that I'm expert on this topic, because what might usually happen is that I start assuming things, I start making assumptions, and as we know, like assumptions can really do damaging things in a company. If people assume, then we are going to have issues, no doubt about it. So that's why, at least personally, I see really essential that I always keep my mind open to different possibilities. And one way to do this is that basically I don't assume anything. I just assume that I know nothing about nothing. So whenever someone is talking about some topic, I always keep my ears open and resist the idea that I know this already. That's really a damaging thought, at least for me, that if I say to myself, if I catch myself saying that I know this already, then I definitely, it's a red flag for me, and I stop assuming and then just start listening. But yeah, finding products to sell on Amazon, it's pretty much the first step, because we need to have something to sell, right? So we need to figure out what to sell on Amazon. And of course, one way to get your feet wet is just to sell stuff that you don't need. So you don't necessarily need to start building going private label right away. It's possible to do different kinds of models in the beginning as well. If you're talking about private label, then there are so many tools on Amazon. So we basically have to study the market as if there was no tomorrow. So we just use all the tools that we can to really make give us an advantage. And the key thing here is that, and I need to emphasize this all the time, that it's not about finding the product. No, it's about finding the search term and then figure out what to sell on that search term. And maybe it sounds a bit odd that, okay, what do you mean? Like if I have a search term for Bluetooth speaker, no, I'm going to be selling Bluetooth speaker on that keyword, right? Well, it's true in one sense, but it's not the complete idea, because what we also need to understand that, okay, what exactly are we selling? Okay, even if you are just selling a Bluetooth speaker, then what kind and how do we actually differentiate? So it's a whole new area of research to do. But anyway, so good ways how to I really think that for some of our brands this is true, and for most of the products still, if you're starting out, it's best to start with something that you already know. So meaning areas of interest, hobbies, or something like this, because it really gives us this competitive advantage to, in market research, because we already know so much about this. We already know how to sell it. We already know how the customers think. We already know what kind of language we need to use. So since that's the case, then it's just we can save huge amount of time in market research if it's something that actually we already have existing knowledge on. So okay, fine, we just list some things that we enjoy doing and we are really knowledgeable about. And okay, let's say we are doing camping, especially that's popular in Finland and here in California as well. So I'm doing different kind of hiking, camping. So if that's actually something we could do, we do usually, then that could be this area of interest to start looking into. And pretty much that, like I mentioned, that it's all about the search term. Then first we list the interests and hobbies we have, and then we basically just start figuring out different search terms. And here it's basically, the example is not really good because it's just the parent category, but it should be about the search term. And of course, sometimes it might be that okay, we are really interested in this topic, but once we do start doing research on Amazon, that we notice that okay, there's really not that much demand on this niche. So there's a lot of different products, product listings and everything, but it does not the sales are not really that great. So one thing we usually have to look are, okay, how many bestsellers are, and you can get this bestseller batch. That's based on the subcategory. So that's what I mean, that there can be several different bestsellers. So bestseller ranking means just it's this velocity of sales during a certain period of time. So that's one way how we can quickly narrow down the niches that we have, this interest that we have. Because if we notice that okay, there's all these different subcategories and sub niches in camping and hiking, but we can already see that okay, one area is really standing out. So maybe that's something that's the niche that we should really start research to the next step in terms of research. And key thing here is always speed. We don't want to spend 6 months in market research. No, this should be something that we can quickly do in matters just a few days. So that's what I mean, that we really need to really pick up the pace and do systems and use processes that we are able to do this in a matter of hours and days instead of weeks and months. So if it takes several weeks just to find one product idea and really evaluate different products, then then we need to get better at it and we need to get faster at it. And it might be that the system you're doing it's not good. So that's one thing to understand, that there's many different ways how to find product ideas, but with the proper tools, with the proper processes, the likelihood that we are going to get fast output is much higher. So we need to have the right tools and we need to have the right system to make use of all these different tools. Yeah, anyway, we will end up with this initial product checklist. And first of all, it has to be profitable. And one of the key issues, most common issues, is that people will go to people see that there's a lot of demand, but then there's the competition is just so high, so it would be pretty much insane to go there. So we want to have demand, but it's much easier to, create demand with advertising. Well, not really create demand, but amplify the demand with advertising than it is to compete with like hundreds of other like really high level like competitors. So it's all about the amount. So if it's just there's just one or two really skilled and really good sellers, then okay, fine, we are able to compete with them. But if the first page is filled with like a 10 plus like tough competitors, then it's not going to be, it's going to be pretty annoying to be there, because it's just going to take all the time, effort in order to build a better product listing and have a better price and have a better value. So that's something that just takes so much time. And additionally, it really depends on the budget, but typically I want to have like low risk. So we don't want to spend like $10,000 for just testing out the product idea. No, we want to spend less than, and that usually means that the inventory investment has to be a bit lower. But yeah, okay, fine, we find our product idea. And then typically, it really depends what kind of product it is and what kind of material it uses. But let's say that if it's using plastic, then okay, it's just going to be China. So if we are sourcing from China, then we can use different marketplaces. Like, I have given a whole training about all previous presentations about sourcing, and as I mentioned like before, like Alibaba is not the best place, but in product validation states, it's all about speed and how quickly can we test the product idea. So we don't want to spend like too much time in sourcing the product. But anyway, so there's different websites, and then there's, okay, if you have the ability to attend trade shows, then we can actually have like one-on-one conversations with suppliers. And this would actually be the case, for example, when we saw some products from US, then they typically have there's actually a lot of these like trade shows. So that's a good way how to really find a lot of like suppliers and talk directly with the suppliers. Is just to attend the trade show and go talk with all these different suppliers to really find what you want to have, and also see the other options that there are. And sourcing agency, eventually, we want to use, if you are sourcing from China, we want to use the Chinese sourcing agents so that we pay the foreigner price, and we pretty much like get like better deals. But like I mentioned before, like speed matters. So first in product validation, we just want to really test the product with the right market. But then there really comes a way how we can increase their profitability, and that comes through sourcing agents or sourcing agencies and so on. So then that's definitely a thing to do, how we can increase profitability. And yeah, I talked so much about vetting suppliers then before in the previous presentation, so check it out. Quality inspections and blah blah blah, those things. Yes. Okay, anyway, we need to get profit, and we need to understand the market research for these products, and that's why we do this perfect product blueprint, to really dig deep into this product. So we just request samples, place the orders, and blah blah blah. Then eventually we are getting ready to launch the product, and then I don't actually recommend starting branding too soon, because first, in product validation, we just want to make sure that the product that we take to the market, that it's good enough quality and there are no surprises. And the point is also to make sure that the information we have so far gathered regarding the demand, then that is actually accurate, and it's still like a good product opportunity. Yes, and then yeah, I mean reviews and all that stuff just to get things started. One thing is that like okay, getting the initial amount of reviews, then I can really tell you that the easy way how you can get this is to don't go any any review sites or these like this. I mean that will get you into trouble. But what you can also do is that I mean go to different like Facebook expat groups for your nationality, and so there you can find a lot of people who live in the US. And if you live in the US, there's pretty much like 100% certainty that you already have an Amazon account. So that's how you can really find people who are like willing to help you out and test your products. Amazon advertising platform, we can really use it to figure out. So anyway, advertising, I mean, we can use it really for research as well. And really, I mean, remove these ineffective keywords, I mean, negative keywords, and then figure out the right keywords that we can really like tap onto. And common question is really, when is it the right time to, I mean, launching more products? Of course, I mean, there's several different methods. Like, okay, fine, maybe some people will tell you that immediately launch multiple products. But the problem is that, first of all, it costs more, so you need to have a higher budget. But then additionally, do you actually have the effort to handle all these different products that you have? If not, then I mean, if you don't have the resources to handle those, then you're just going to water down your like the output. So it makes much more sense to really go one by one. And then, like once things start to pick off, then you just launch more products. And since we are really about building a brand, and really we don't want to have like immediately end up with multiple brands and multiple products, because that means that we will have just so many different areas of like completely different areas that we need to start focusing on. So it's much better if the products actually build on themselves, so we can sell the same customers like all the different products, but then additionally like we can easily like build upon the brand, so we don't need to like start from scratch immediately. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So eventually, I mean, we want to have high margin products, because we need to have room for different things like advertising and shipping and whatever. But the thing is that, okay, what is high margin? Well, I mean, it really depends on I mean, usually, I mean, I like to give like some specific number that, okay, I mean, we need to be able to multiply it at least by 5 or whatever. But then as we go into like higher cost, higher priced items, then I mean, we can actually go beyond that. But then, I mean, if we are selling higher priced items, then that means that we are just going to be requiring a bigger budget. And the problem is that like we shouldn't immediately go into these higher priced items, because there's a chance that, I mean, we might have issues with like ranking the products and that kind of stuff. So it shouldn't be our first product, but eventually, I mean, definitely, or why not? And I mean, we are like launching products that cost like multiple hundreds. So there's not just one way, but it's more about that it makes more sense in the beginning to start with low risk and low cost and smaller budget, and then basically just build upon it as you get as you get traction. But yes, I mean, absolutely, there must be cash all the time to keep the business running, and especially like during right now it's almost September, so O&D is starting like in a month, so that's the last quarter, and this is the biggest time of the year in retail usually. So that means that we need to make significant investments in inventory. Let's say that if we are just bootstrapping and we are not using any lines of credit or anything like this, then that means that we need to make hefty investments already like during sprints. So that will definitely strain the cash flow. Hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you like this topic. And if you would like to join the discussion regarding pretty much everything related to selling on Amazon and building a global business, then just comment group and my team will reach out to you and add you to the group. And if you have any questions, if you would like to discuss with me regarding any topic, then just feel free to reach out and we can have a chat. See you later.